What's up, guys? Back for another week of Saints Talk. I'm your host, Kevin Washington. As always, I'm with my co-host, Nick Underhill, and it's the official podcast of NewOrleans.Football. Go to the site. You guys know the drill. NewOrleans.Football /subscribe. Pick a tier, pick whatever works for you. Whatever you choose, you're going to be in the game. Practice reports, stories about players, in-depth analysis, film watching, film study when the season starts, pretty much everything. So make sure you guys join the site. Go check us out and be great. Be great. Be great. Man, what's up, Nick? It's a good day to record, man. How you doing? Are you sane today? Yesterday was a little wild for you. I'm just checking on my boy.
Yeah, we had to postpone yesterday because it was a little bit too too much going on yesterday. And
Yeah.
man, that story was changing like within the minute. So yeah.
The ball was coming in too hot.
Yeah, we were like, there were a couple times where I was like ready to pull the trigger, start recording, and then like something else happened, and we just couldn't do it. So
I just had this like vision in my head where we were recording and like you just look at your phone and be like, wait a minute, Alvin just signed. And yeah, it was just like, nah, man, that's not the way. So it could happen still. But
look, I can't believe how out of control that got, because the day before I had heard that it was close, the deal was close. I tweeted like, oh, it's nothing to worry about. Like it should be fine in a couple of days, because like I really thought it was going to be, and it still is close.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that there's like a gulf in between them. I think this was more of there wasn't enough communication going on, and I think people got frustrated, and that's kind of what set things off a little bit more so than it's a couple $1 million away. Like yeah, that's not insignificant. It's a couple $1 million per year over 4 years, 5 years. That's $8-10 million, but $2 million a year is an overcomable figure, and you can get to a middle ground on that.
I agree, man. I mean, me and my company that I work for, we were like going back and forth over the $2 million. Like I was like, no. That's how I think it went, at least.
But I mean, for real though, I mean, like where they're at in this, I don't think that it's.
Yeah, I mean, things just can't happen normally in Saints land. It's got to be a little drama there. Right. It's got to be some fireworks. It's got to be like, hey man, listen, family. I'm not speculating or anything, but sometimes family fight, man. You have these little spouts, and then you get over it, and then everybody's happy. So, how did he look in practice today?
He looked good. I mean, he looked like his normal self, how he's looked all through camp. I don't think there's really anything going on. Like, I'm sure there's something going on with his back, but I don't think it's like a thing where you look at him and he's different and it's holding him back.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like an injured player. He looked like somebody that was moving really fast, quick, cutting well, doing all the stuff he normally does. I think there was even a video of this. There's like a thing where like he started out on his back on an exercise ball and like rolled off real quick and took off. So, I mean, you see him moving well, and his back isn't, biting on him or anything like that. So I think, I think he looks good. I'm not worried about the injury aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think the negotiation aspect of it has calmed down considerably, but I do think that, seeing how it went off crazy for really, really quick, like, I don't think you should take anything for granted.
Yeah, it could just explode. Yeah, like with no warning, just all of a sudden things are crazy.
I don't expect that to happen again. I do think that this is going to resolve one way or like another. Like he came back to practice. I think that's an admission that like maybe some things weren't being handled as well as they should have been. Mm-hmm. He's back there. He's back in the building. I think they're going to negotiate in good faith and figure this out one way or another.
Yeah.
But it got wild for a minute, man.
Yeah. Man, look, I mean, we're texting back and forth. So I just like, I mean, this is soap opera. So it's like the reports that you're seeing as being public, and the agent saying this, and then someone spoke to someone else, and someone wants to be traded, and people are speculating. I was listening to a pod, I won't name what it was, but one person was speculating on like where the trade request was coming from. This person said like, obviously the agent is trying to drive up the price, and I'm just like, man, no one knows. Like someone does, but like it's just all speculation at this point. And like I was following the timeline, and I was just reading, and it was basically takes coming from every different angle of it. And I wrote like this thread about it. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna put my take out there, and I was just like, nah, man, like it's way too hot right now. like I'm not going there. Like it's too much noise, and so I just took a step back and I said, we talk about it on the pod, and so but I did
Well,
see.
I mean, I'm not even going to get into it. Like, people can say whatever they want. I mean, there's enough out there to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plenty public reports, and everyone was talking to everyone at one point. Like, I think like one guy was talking to like the one camp is talking to two different people and telling them different things. I don't know, man, but I think they are better with each other. I think I think that's how I look at it, right? And so just two things. One, I saw like a video of him moving in practice today, and he looked pretty good to me. But one thing that stood out was like this dude he's like kind of ridiculous. Like, I was just watching him move and cut, and I'm not gonna lie, I was just kind of thinking like, man, if this guy's healthy for a whole year, like, that's crazy. Like, he just looks a little bit different when he moves. And as someone that tries to cut every once in a while, I will admit that I was a little bit impressed with that. So but as far as the just the team and Kamara and the Saints, I think that the Saints are pretty much all in, right? They're all in this year. And I know they are building towards the future, and it's not like just go so crazy this year and don't worry about the subsequent years. I'm not saying that, but they're in a win now mode, right? They got a quarterback who this may be his last year. You have a better chance on winning that Super Bowl with Kamara. And if you get to the Super Bowl, that's worth losing whoever you lose next year, right? Like, a Super Bowl in 2020 is worth more than re-signing Ramczyk or Lattimore, or both of them. Right? The Super Bowl is the ultimate goal. If you get a Super Bowl, that's it, right? If you lose a player and it's fine, right? Because you got to that goal. And so I just think that he gives them a better chance just to win with him being on this team. And I don't think it was worth trading him, at this moment, based on what the team's goals are.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they're definitely they got a better chance of winning a Super Bowl with them. There's nobody else that they're going to find. That there aren't too many guys in the league that are going to create the mismatches that he creates, and the decisions that you got to make based on him in the huddle. Do you go linebacker? Right. You go safety? Mm-hmm. Do you go cornerback? I mean, like, you could.
What do you do?
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of down and distance calculations and different things you got to worry about with him, and you just aren't going to get that. Ty Montgomery will give you the receiving aspect of it, but you aren't dictating a matchup because of Ty Montgomery.
They're going to think it's pass. Yeah.
He's not the runner that Alvin is. He gives you some run, but he's not the same threat. You aren't going to take advantage of, if they drop a safety out there, he isn't going to run over somebody and break a tackle the same way Alvin might and take care of that lighter box and take advantage of it. So, I mean, if they lost Alvin, I do think that Sean could scheme together some stuff and get by, but it's not going to be the same. You aren't going to be as explosive. Your odds of winning are better with Alvin.
Right.
All that stuff. So, yeah, no doubt about it. But at the same time, being all in, they can't go beyond their price, and they shouldn't, because they can lose Drew, pick up, whoever, a risk-adverse quarterback that gets the ball to Mike Thomas, that gets the ball to Alvin Kamara, that gets the ball to Jared Cook. Whoever's on the team doesn't make mistakes. You have a very good defense. There's still a future beyond Drew Brees, and that doesn't mean that you should go to $15 million just to be good this season and then F it next year and whatever you got to do. No, that's not a good decision. That's what the New York Jets do, and that's why the New York Jets are the New York Jets. Like, the Saints shouldn't do business like that. They need to set their price and stick to it. Like, if their price is 12.5, like, maybe you flex to 13, but like, don't go to 14, don't go to 15. If that's where you set your value, you got to stick to it. If your value is 15, pay them 15. Like, they will pay a guy at the top of the market. Like, if they think you're the best wide receiver of all time.
They gave Mike $20 million before. Yeah, he's first $20 million receiver. Absolutely.
Right. It's not like we're talking about a cheap team, but like, they set a price, and whatever they think the price is, that's what they're going to stick to. And Alvin's a very difficult guy to gauge his value. Like, on one hand, you can watch 4 or 5 games from last year, and you should pay him more than anybody in the NFL off of those 4 or 5 games. You watch the rest of the games, you look at the numbers, you put it all together. Like, the numbers aren't taking you to 16. The numbers are taking you to, 10, 11 million. Like, it's a 1,600-yard player. Like, I'm not knocking him. Like, he's a guy that got 1,600 yards or 1,592 yards 2 years ago. He had 1,300 yards last year. Like, if you're valuing him off last season just off numbers, the number's going to be a little bit lower. You throw in the film and how good he actually is and what you know he can be, that gets you to that 12 to 14 range. So, like, they should live somewhere in there.
I think in between, right? Like
Right.
somewhere between. Yeah, I agree. Like you're looking at the McCaffrey deal and you're saying, okay, we're not
You
going
can't
there.
do it. You can't.
Then you
You
look at
can't.
then you look at the Henry and the Mixon side and you say, okay, well, he's a little bit higher than that, right? So you got 16 on one end, 13 on the other, right? I mean, I'm sorry, 12 on one end and 16 on the other. Somewhere in between there, is it 13? Is it 13 and a half? 14 seems a bit rich, but
Yeah, it
you
does.
know, yeah. And so, go
I'd be
ahead.
12, 5, 13. Like somewhere in there.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I think 12, 5, 13, maybe 13, 2,
Yeah, if you
because of the
got to.
200,000 little fine. Just give him that back. But I will say this. And you may disagree, and I think that you do, but I'm gonna speak for you. But Alvin is a running back. He's listed as a running back, but I would rather pay Alvin than someone like Derrick Henry.
Oh,
Right.
a million times.
Yeah, and I say that because I know the running back position is devalued in a lot of ways, right? Like you don't draft Leonard Fournette. We'll talk about Leonard. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But like, I don't want to pay that guy. I don't want to pay a guy who's just taking a pounding, who's a 20 rush a game guy. Like, I'll just draft him in the third or fourth round. And some guys are unique. Some guys are different. You got the Zekes of the world and things of that nature. But I don't value those guys high. I kind of look at Kamara in a different vein. And I do the same with McCaffrey. Now, maybe on different levels because McCaffrey's out there doing it. Like, he's ridiculous. I don't think he can have another year like he just had. Like, I just don't see how he can do that again. Like, he's got to get hurt at some point. I'm not wishing that on him, but it's just too many touches. But
he's got two of those already, though. I mean,
I know, man, but he's not a big
right.
guy.
No, I agree. I agree.
Remember Cam Newton was unstoppable, and then he was hurt for 2 years, right? Everyone wears out at some point, and those hits, they just accumulate. Like, you can, regardless of how you look at it, right? But Kamara affects the pass game in a different way, and I give that valuation. I deal with the valuation a little bit. That's a dope cut, by the way. I'm sorry, you flexing. Yeah, you flexing. You're flexing. All right, what happened to what happened to the vitamin water, Nick? Like, I thought we was team vitamin. That's not a promo. That's just
they got to cut the check, man.
Yeah, they got to cut the check. Let me put that back. We cut that out the pot.
Blur it out.
Yeah, blur that out. Yeah, that's not cool. But I'm gonna stop here. But I just think, like, he affects the pass game and he affects the matchup game and he affects all assets of your offense in a way that I'm cool with paying a guy listed as a running back with those traits versus if it was someone who was just a bell cow back. I guess that's what I'm saying about it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and I think those guys are more replaceable. You get a good offensive line, you can make a good runner. I mean, you just get some guy that can get what's like Latavius Murray. If he got 250 carries a season, like, he's gonna have a lot of yards. Like,
if they gave him the ball 20 times a game in the Saints offense, he's 1,000-yard back without even thinking twice about it.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, look, I think Zeke's one of the guys I would pay Zeke for sure. I think Zeke's a freak, and
he affects the pass game too.
He does, not to the same level as Alvin. Alvin does a whole lot more. And I think if we were talking about a one-dimensional player, I don't think the Saints would be putting this. If he was a 1,600-yard guy that was just rushing, right, I don't think they'd pay him like this.
I mean, they had a guy like that before. I mean, not Mark Ingram was good in the pass game, and they offered him $4 million. So right. That's what they paid him. So I think they'll let I think what you're saying is lining up with their actions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a tough situation, like, to get to, like, I just don't know how you can get to 15. And this is why I was saying on one of the previous podcasts, like, if you think you can stay healthy through the season, it's almost worth risking it. It's almost worth risking it because he just was not going to get. I just don't. And look, we might end up being surprised by the final numbers here, but
Pete,
I just don't think that him coming off that season with the way things have been for him, a year left on the contract, I just don't think that he's going to get the top of the market money. But I do think that he is better 16 games healthy than any back in the NFL. I really do. I think
that's my opinion.
Player. But if you want to get that money, you're at a point where you got to take the risk, and that's what you got to decide. Either you want to take the risk or you want to. And look, if you want to get paid that much money, like, odds are, it's going to be tough to play on a good team and do that. Like, if you're going to go out in the market, you're going to test the market. you're going to get the money probably
easily.
But like, is it going to be for a team that,
They're going to run you into the ground in 3 years, and that may be your last contract. I mean, I hate to say that, but like if he goes to another team, they pay him what he, say he gets the McCaffrey contract in the open market, right? After a good year. Well, you're the bell cow. You're getting the ball every down, and you're going to sign a 5-year deal, whatever. But, you're like you said, you're probably not on a winning team. And, you're going to basically be running the ball a lot more than you were before, right? And your value, I mean, that second contract, it's just not as high of a chance of getting it. Look at Ingram. Ingram is on his third, right? And he's never had to like be the guy who super carried the ball. So, how do you add that up, right? I mean, if it's like you could say, okay, Ingram got $2 $4 million a year contracts plus his rookie deal. So maybe he's making like $9 million, you add those up and you kind of can look at how a longer career can maybe be more appealing than just having like that one big contract.
Yeah. So, it's not going to be the same in Washington, like,
oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, and everything is here for you too. I mean, like you look at the team that's around, like he doesn't have to, like he can affect every play without touching the ball every play. Right. So you don't have to worry about running the ball 20 times. Like you can run the ball 10 times and have 5 catches and be the MVP of the game because you were formationing people to death, right? You got Mike Thomas out there. You got Emmanuel Sanders. You got Jared Cook. You got top 3 O-line in the league, right? So everything is kind of around, and some to some guys that matter, some guys that don't. So I guess we'll see how much it means to them.
The other thing too is a year from now, you don't know what the cap's going to look like, and that's the other thing that makes it like scary. Like it could look healthier coming out of this year, and things go up. The NBA's ratings just took a hit. Like maybe the NFL ratings take a hit a little bit, and things trend the wrong direction, and it doesn't look as promising coming out. So in some aspects, this could be the worst time ever to be negotiating a contract. But on the other hand, like the door number 2 is that like it could get a lot bad. Like you just don't know what it's going to look like a year from now. Like the whole climate around the league could change. There's a lot of unknown. It's a really tough situation to navigate. Yeah. Like he's really become a free agent, probably at the least advantageous
time
is where, as far as where the league's at and where he's at. Like
he was like injured.
It was a great season. I mean, it was still a great season, but it's probably for prime Alvin, it's probably the lowest, the least amount of production he's ever going to have.
Absolutely. No, I agree.
But it's easy for us to say like, oh, this is the best situation, you should take the money. But like, if he were to like roll the dice and gamble and it works out, that's $16-20 million that's in his pocket. And
if he plays 16 games, if he's healthy all year, then he's a $16 million a year player. And if the Saints don't want to pay it, then someone else will. Like you said something, and I'm glad I didn't forget it. But I think a healthy Alvin is probably the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah,
I just feel that way. He's got to do it on the field, though. That's the thing. I don't think that he is the best running back in the NFL. I think McCaffrey is, and maybe you could say Zeke is second because they're out there doing it every game, every play, and they're available.
He's the most talented running back in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, he's a high-end slot receiver, right? Like he's a high-end slot receiver. He's a top 5 runner with the football, and he can split wide, right? Like your safety can't cover him for the most part. Maybe there's some that'll cover him on some plays, but like you can't put a safety on him. You damn sure enough can't put a linebacker on him. What do you do when he's in the game? You have no idea. And it's not a lot of those guys around.
He ran an out and up in his very first game in the NFL, that's not a route. That's a route that I bet if you went through the league, there's maybe 4 or 5 people that have ran one as a running back over the last 2 or 3 years. Ty Montgomery 100% is one because I've seen him do it in a game. Mm-hmm. I think McCaffrey, I saw him do it like one time. And like there's I went looking.
It's rare, man.
One time, and and there was like 4 or 5 that I found. I don't have it. Right here, but I mean, it's just not something that happens.
It's not normal. And McCaffrey doesn't. I mean, I know if you look at Carolina's
Travaris Cadet. Travaris ran everything, man.
Hey, man, listen.
But Travaris ran everything.
That's your boy, man. You want him back, don't you? Be real.
Look, he ran Look, Sean
300
Payton's
yards.
such a good coach that like Travaris Cadet got like 2 more contracts than he should have in the NFL because of like what he was able. Like he made him a viable NFL player, and he shouldn't have been.
That's fair. That's fair.
Imagine what he's gonna do with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you put, I think you're going to see. I think they're going to kind of maybe dabble in some like 2 running back stuff this year. I could definitely see them doing that. That's just a guess, but when you got 2 guys like that on the same team, you know, I think there's a good chance that you'll see something along those lines. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But it's good that he's in the building, and we'll see what's going on with this contract thing. But hey, guys, by the way, there's a couple of articles on the site about the Kamara contract situation. One was preempted. Nick, I think you wrote it last week. I'm going to say last week. All these weeks are blending in together at this point. And then there was another one recently. So make sure you guys go to the site. Check it out. Check it out. Go read it. Some of the stuff that is going on now, my man predicted it. So just a little plug right there. All right. I don't want to spend a lot of time, none on this, but like let's just move to Ruiz. I'm switching it up. So I was listening to Coach Dan Rashard speak. Dan Rashard, excuse me, Rashard, Roshar. I think how you spell it. R-O-U. Okay, all right, my bad. But he's the O-line coach for the Saints, and someone asked him about the rookie, and so asked him how is he doing with center, and so he had an interesting comment. He said that looking at when Ruiz is at center and McCoy is at guard, things are great, like outstanding. And then he said when Ruiz is at guard and McCoy's at center, then they're good. And I see improvement being made. So I'm like, okay, Ruiz at center, things are great. Him at guard, things are not great, but they're good. And then he doubled down on it later in the interview saying that, how do we feel if he has to start at center for the first game? And he was like, hey, man, you're always concerned because coaches are concerned, but I feel really good about if we had to put this guy out there for center. So it just kind of caught me off guard because I'm thinking, okay, he's missing practices, right, which is not good. So conventional thinking says, okay, this guy's probably going to end up playing guard because he's just not getting the reps at center. But from the sounds of the O-line coach, they feel pretty good about his play at center thus far, maybe even better than his play as guard. So what's your take on it?
I don't know, man. It's tough to know. Like the chemistry thing is like something that everybody talks about, and then it goes back and forth. And but I do think it's a 2-pronged approach too. Like we've talked about this whole thing about central on one player playing one position.
Mm-hmm.
McCoy's got to be able to play guard too. You know what I'm saying?
He said McCoy looked, and he spoke about like they loved him at guard,
and
which is crazy.
And it's like, is Ruiz okay at guard? Like there's 2 aspects of this, and like which combination of the 2 puts you solid in there. So him not being out there and not hearing it though, like it is concerning. Like he spent 3 practices doing it. Like, is that really enough? Like after everybody talked about this dude, like he's got to hear it. It's going to be hard. It's such a process. It's a steep learning curve. And then you do it for 3-4 days and you're good. I don't know. I'll have to see it, man. Like, that's probably that's the area where I think I'm most concerned about the whole team. And it's the whole tier offensive line, just because there's no continuity throughout camp.
Yeah, I feel you. Because Pete just came back, but now, it's like you start camp with Pete hurt. Then Ruiz and McCoy are flipping back and forth for center. Then Ruiz gets hurt. Then Pete comes back, right? And it's just like those guys don't have the time on task. And Coach Payton said that he expects Ruiz to be back relatively soon. That was last week, I think, but he's not back yet. So,
I mean,
what does that mean?
I mean, it was sad. It was sad.
Exactly. Like, and this is deception season.
Yeah.
Right. They said it, like, we're not telling you about our young players. Like, we're not tipping, coaches are paranoid, right? Notoriously. And so, they're probably, For all we know, Ruiz can suck at center and be great at guard.
Here's the other thing with it too, though. Like you got to have the the chemistry is a big issue for the guard and the tackle too, and like how they deal with like stunts and games and all that stuff and the communication.
Mm-hmm.
Like you aren't getting that on that side of the line either. Like when McCoy's at center, he's not building that chemistry with the right tackle.
With Ramczyk.
Yeah. So like, how does that work? There's just so like look, it's going to coalesce because it always coalesces. And Dan Rauschauer is like an amazing coach. Like I think he's an outstanding offensive line coach.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're going to have it on point. But it is fair to look at that one area of the team and be like, wow, like all this stuff's going on. Teron wasn't at practice today. Ramczyk's missed a lot of days of practice. Like he's there, but he's not always practicing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're just seeing a lot of stuff happen, and it's just like it's not the group.
Yeah,
and I think it'll be fine. But it's just for a team that's so good and there's really nothing to talk about. Like
we gotta have some topics on these pies, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the one spot where you're like, wow, things aren't like incredibly perfect right now. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Hopefully this coming week, Teron, and it's like no one's seriously hurt. Well, Pete had a significant injury. I would say that's a relatively significant injury, and they said that they got something that they're putting on his hand that should help him out a little bit, and he's dealt with that before. But that matters, right? You can't block if you got a good thumb or whatever finger he broke, right, and fractured. I think it was his thumb. So yeah, I think all this stuff matters. Teron's out, Pete was hurt, Ruiz is out. McCoy's moving and Ramczyk has been hurt. So yeah, you gotta call it how it is, and you make a good point. But they don't seem. I mean, I guess they wouldn't let us know if they seem concerned, but they haven't brought anyone in to.
I don't think they're concerned. I really don't think they're concerned. I think it's going to work out. And look, here's the thing: like, if you were to start the season with Ruiz at center and it turns out to be a disaster, like you just move a guy over.
Right. You guys switch,
and like the atmosphere of playing center in the end, like the silent snap count and that, like I don't even know how that's going to come into play. So like playing center this year might be easier than it's ever been to play center.
I'm glad you mentioned that too, because they spoke about that with the coach, and he's like, like it'll be a little bit easier for the guys playing center because you don't have the noise factor, right, on the road. He's mentioned on the road. So yeah, good point. So we'll see. But the O-line, I think we both agree that if you had to pick one area, which is crazy because it may be the best unit on the team, right? But they just got some stuff going on. And going into this, I think they play on the 13th is the first game. So that's 11 days from now, 2 Sundays from now. So, you would at least like to see them have like a week, maybe a week and a day or two of just all being together. No one's hurt, and them guys just getting some continuity together. I think you can feel decent about maybe Pete and Teron because they played together long enough to maybe.
Oh yeah, they're fine.
Jump into it.
100% they're fine.
Yeah, but it would be good if like the next week it was just like Ruiz at center the whole time and McCoy at guard and Ramczyk is not dealing with something and everybody is just full go. So we'll see. So speaking of. Well, let's flip it, right? So the O-line is the unit that, we thought was fine, but end up dealing with some injuries.
It's still fine.
Yeah, it's fine, right? But we got to have these pod topics, man. But on the D-line, DA said that he's feeling pretty good about their 4-man pass rush. And the first name I thought about was Sheldon Rankins. And there's been reports about how he's looked, but based on what you've seen, like, are they accurate? Is he looking like the guy that he was the year he had those sacks and he was been moving offensive guards into oblivion?
Yeah, he looks good. He's doing a lot of that stuff. Burst is there, pass rush is there. He's getting after it. He's getting pressure, sacks. There's been a few practices where he's, been extremely standout player and done really well. I've liked Mario Edwards a lot. I think he's done some things really well in practice. He flashes. Granderson, he's getting a lot done. He looks better. Looks like a more complete player than he did last year.
Yeah.
Whoa. I just lost my speech here. But yeah. But Shy Tuttle was someone I talked about a lot heading into this, and I liked him a lot. And I thought
he been practicing.
He was hurt. He's back now.
Okay, yeah.
You know, he's been fine. He's done some things. You know, I actually think that I've liked Malcolm Roach a little bit better than him. I would have had Jalen Dalton on the team if he hadn't gotten hurt.
That was your guy, man. That was your guy.
Yeah, he was doing like really, really good. Malcolm Roach has been impressive.
He's like more of a nose tackle than a.
He's an interior guy who's been getting a lot of pressure though. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's get to the quarterback.
Yeah. So he's getting it done. So I like him. You know, it'd be tough. Like if you were just looking at it through the prism of this camp, and there wasn't this, you know, these other years and the potential. I think that Malcolm's had a better camp. And if you had to choose between the two, that would be the guy. Like if there's no history and you're doing it completely blind. Now, I'm not saying Shai's off the team. I'm just saying, like, based on this camp, he's ahead of him.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I like Marcus Hunt too. He does a lot, and I think his versatility is there. I think it might be hard for him to make the team, but it's.
Have they played him? Have they moved him like outside and inside, or is he just?
Yeah, he does a little bit of both. There's some versatility there, and it's showing up a little bit. But I don't know. It's a deep group. It's gonna be hard to make the team. And then the other aspect of this too is that, like, with the way the practice squad is, you got 6 guys that can be veterans.
Like veterans, as in like any veteran, or like maybe a 3 or 4 year veteran.
Like Malcolm Jenkins, veteran. Like,
wow.
Yeah. So like super veteran. Like you've been in the league for a while. Like, so there's some different roles.
And can anyone just sign those guys off the practice squad normally, or is that like prohibited?
I don't know. I think there might be a level of protection this year. I don't want to, like, I'm not 100%. Yeah, I will know these roles Saturday when I need to know them. Right now, I know that there's some new roles in place.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there does need to be an aspect of, like, if you like, who can you cut that nobody else is going to grab, and like,
yeah.
So if you look at the offensive line and you want to make some moves, you want to trim down, like, can you cut Cameron Tom and Will Clapp? Which one of those guys can you let go and get through? Like, who's not going to get signed?
Right.
Can you let both of them go and you're fine with keeping one of them, and then one gets through? Like, these are the decisions you're going to have to make. I think if you had to choose between the two, I'd probably keep Will Clapp on the team.
I think that's probably fair.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how some of this stuff goes, and I think it could change a little bit. But yeah, I would agree. Like, I'm way off on a tangent here, but I would agree that the pass rush has been good. And there's just a lot of guys showing up that you wouldn't expect to show up. Having said that, if you could still get like a Clowney, like I would go get Clowney.
Yeah. Imagine the uproar if they signed Clowney like before Kamara.
Would there be an uproar? I think people.
Yeah, well, they just mad because they signed Taysom before. I mean, come on, man. You almost look at you, man. My bad. I didn't mean to do that.
Look, I think it's fine. Like, it's fine to argue with, like, the value of Taysom Hill. Like, if you want to say Taysom Hill isn't worth this amount of money, like, I'm not gonna have that fight with you. I'm gonna let you have your take and go on.
Yep.
Look, I mean, he's a weird guy, and if you don't value him the way that everybody else does, that's fine. That's fine. Saying that, like, they signed this guy so they can't sign Alvin is insane. They have like $8 million in cap space. They can sign him. And, Kai Harley cooked the books for, for the Gotti family. So, like, it doesn't matter. Like, they're going to do whatever they got to do to get it through. Like, they've been evading tax evasion people.
I mean, they can, like, with $8 million, they can sign Ramchick, Kamara, and Lattimore.
With $8 million, they can go by the Jets. Like, they'll make it work. Like, that's all they need, man. $8 million? Like,
get Woody Johnson out of here.
Like, they'll make it work, whatever they got to do. But yeah, that's a crazy, like, oh, they signed Taysom, so they don't have, like, no, they have the money, and, like, cap isn't real here. Although I do think that they're concerned about the future cap. I really do.
I think,
I think you're good for a year. You can cook it for a year, but, like, when you cook that for a year and you're pushing it 2 years down, the
rubber's gonna meet the road at some point.
You're creating a significant mess in 2022. Like, it's easy to get into 2021. Like, it's easy to get compliant in 2021, but, like, the things you're doing, it's gonna take a lot. It's gonna take a lot.
Gotta get Drew get that Super Bowl and get out of here, man.
I don't even know. That ain't even enough for 22, man.
Yeah,
like, there's going to be some hard stuff that has to happen.
Yeah. No, I get it. Update on the backup quarterback. who's looking? How's Taysom look recently? I know. I don't even know. I guess I can't even remember the dates, but I know Sean Payton said he looked like he was the one that had the baby,
Yeah.
which is interesting. And then everyone loves Jameis, man. I mean, it's weird because it seems like he throws a lot of interceptions.
He does.
Yeah, and I've heard coaches say this too, right? So it's hard to parse it because, and it's true, right? The guys make throws in camp that they wouldn't make during, the regular season game, right? Marcus Williams was Ed Reed one year in camp because Drew was taking chances, and then the season started and he was Marcus Williams, which is still a good player, but he's not Ed Reed. So maybe Jameis is throwing some passes and he's being aggressive, and maybe he's still learning, and maybe when the game starts, still dial it back. But on the flip side, he got a history of throwing a lot of interceptions, man, and maybe that's in his DNA. So it's hard to know how to feel about it. But anyway, as a loaded question, but just back to the base question: how's the battle going, and how are both guys looking?
Yeah, I don't know if I can like say whether he's trying to do things that he wouldn't do in a game or not. But I think if you're Jameis Winston, priority number one is to limit mistakes and show that you're not making these decisions. And I don't think that it's like, hey, I got this down, so let me try to do some other stuff to push my limits. Like he needs to get out of square one. And I think Ryan Hinton, he commented on something, I think, after reading my practice report, and he was like, this is basically the story of Jameis for the last 5 years. And it is like he's awesome for 38 throws, and then there's 2. And those 2 are the
like
ones
bad.
that are but like you watch the rest and it's like, man, this is awesome. Like he's hitting these throws. He had an hour out today that was just like I just was like, man, I cannot believe he got that in there.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff's breathtaking that he can do, especially comparatively speaking to the other guys that got to throw that outbreaking ball before the outbreak starts.
Yeah. As soon as you get off the line of scrimmage, you throwing the ball.
Right. Like legitimately, like a big part of playing with Drew is like being consistent in how you move, so you teach your body language, so he can throw that ball with the anticipation. Jameis can just throw it, and the difference is crazy to watch, especially back to back.
Yeah.
Then there's those couple. There's an interception to Keith Washington today. And it was just like, maybe you shouldn't have thrown that ball. And there was Keith had another interception on him that like it was just like, who are you throwing that to?
Yeah. So he had
shout out to Keith though. He's
I was about to say, man, he's been doing this thing, man.
He's got 6 picks.
That's crazy. He has 2 days with multiple picks, with 2 picks, right?
Yeah, look, and that's 6 picks in team drills. Like I can think of like 3 others in different situations. There was like a combo route drill where he picked off about, like he has a lot of interceptions.
He's gonna make the team if he's picking the ball off like that. Like history shows that like those guys make the team.
It's tough though. Like it's gonna be tough to make this team, but like he's made a ton of plays.
He's an outside corner, right?
He's an outside corner.
I mean, that's one of the spots.
Look, I pegged him as my
P-Rock been balling, but go ahead.
I announced him as my dark horse before training camp started.
Hey,
like I'm riding with him. I'm riding.
You got bro.
I'm riding with him.
Eric Harris. Man, you got. I mean, that's your thing, right?
I'm riding with him to the end, but I mean, yeah, no, definitely. He's
got a great last name.
Look, and where he started too is a great.
Don't skip over that.
It's a great point of like how weird this offseason is, because like he started out the first few days of camp and it was bad, man. Like it was legitimately bad. Like maybe the first 3-4 days of camp, to the point where I was like, I'm watching. I'm like, man, like, are they going to bring in other corners to try some guys out just to bring in? Like it was rough. Like it didn't look like he was ready to be here. And then it was just like it clicked, man. Like he figured out what he was doing, and I don't think he was thinking about training camp or the defense, the scheme, all the stuff that he needs to be doing as much. He kind of got it down a little bit, got the basics down, started playing, and it started showing up. And that process would have played out OTA's minicamp.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like no OTA's minicamp. Like you got to give these guys maybe a little bit more time this year. Look, what kind of corner is he? Like he's a bigger corner, like a smaller, quicker guy.
6'1", 180. He's got some speed. No, he's not a big guy. He's kind of like he's tall.
I mean,
but
tall.
Yeah,
tall.
He's listed at 180. I wouldn't be surprised if he's even a little lighter. He's a tall guy. He's wiry. Like he's just real. He's like a thinner guy. Really long
6'1",
arms.
180. You're pretty. You're not. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
big of a guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a long guy. Like,
Other than like all the interceptions, is he like covering guys pretty well? Like
yeah,
just
his coverage is solid. There's PBUs. It's not just all picks. It's PBU.
yeah.
But
Okay.
he's playing well. He's playing well.
Yeah, man. That's
He's not covering Mike Thomas though, but he's playing well.
yeah. I mean, that's another point. Like he's doing it against, and it's a lot easier to put him on the team if P. Rob isn't having his best Saints camp ever, or
P-Rob's
neither.
been awesome, man.
Yeah, it's like what's going on, and then PJ's having a good camp. So, like, if you take, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's playing special teams. So that I think if he can be a solid special teamer and be a decent backup outside corner, I mean, it's hard to like keep guys like they'll find a way to get that dude on the roster if that's who he is, right? And I mean, he's not going to come in the game and have 6 picks in the regular season, but if he's a decent corner, I mean, it's hard to find undrafted corners really, but that'd be
They do a good job with it, actually. Like Crawley was a great find. Like
for undrafted guy, that's fair.
yeah, but Crawley just never had the ball skills. He was never picking off passes, but he covered well. He just never knew how to. He just never figured out how to read receivers to get his head around to make a play. That was the issue with him. Keith at least has that, so he's starting off at a good spot. Like you said, it's a position where the competition possibly could turn in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, like you said, is P-Rob is playing outstanding. Right. And I've heard that just having Malcolm Jenkins around has been like really key for him, just keeping his head right.
Okay, they know each other from Philly too. That's
and that's where he played his best. And just having him here, I've been told that's been beneficial for him and just
interesting
playing well. And look, he's been a confident. Like when his head's right, he plays really well. When it's not, like things tend to spiral on him. So if there's some guy that knows how to whisper to P-Rob, that's good. That's good to have around. It really
I'm gonna fix P-Rob. Where's the $8 million a year contract?
It really
fix this guy.
and I think P-Rob, if he hadn't taken the pay cut this offseason, I don't think he'd even be on the team right now. Yeah,
he'd be out of here.
And then PJ's been awesome, man. Like
he's been playing mostly safety. Has it been mostly or some safety corner, outside, slide, inside? Like
I'd say he's doing everything. But man, he's been awesome. Like the safety stuff fits him so well. Like it really does. It fits him so well. It's just, I mean, when he always kind of projected as somebody that could play safety though. Like when he came out, like I do my draft profiles. Like I wrote in there that he could play safety just because of the way he tackles and plays zone. Yeah. And it just fits him. It suits him so well, man. Like it's just he looks good back there. I think he's gonna get some play like during the season. They're gonna force him.
Spot. So you bring up a topic, right? You think they're gonna? I mean, so you got Malcolm. They didn't sign Malcolm to sit down, but you got PJ's looking good, right? You got CD, Deuce, and Lattimore, Marcus Williams, and Janoris Jenkins, who apparently is like the best corner in camp this year. Right. Apparently, he's looking good. That's like, how many is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 DBs. You see a little dime in there?
Oh yeah. I think they're going to they got all those safeties. They're going to find a way to use them. And all the talk about positionless football. Yeah. Look,
hey, we started that, man. You guys writing your little positionless football articles. Fall back, man. Look, no, I'm serious. No, but look, chill out. We coined it. Like we got it. The New Orleans Saints positionless football. Don't write your articles.
Nah, they got it.
Don't write your articles.
Hey, we already got it, man. We already
you seen my Twitter AVI, man. Don't write your articles.
Nah,
I'm not smiling, man. I'm not smiling.
They can have that now, man. They can have that now.
We define. Yeah, they can come behind us, man.
Yeah, but hey, look, man. I mean, like that was kind of like a these guys.
I'm in my feelings, man. I'm trying to clean it up. I'm speaking for me, not Nick. But I'm joking. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but all them guys. I mean, look, that's how you capitalize on it is by throwing all those guys out there, and it's just complete chaos. Like who's going where? That's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Yeah, who's going where? I mean, PJ's played corner. CD Deuce. Sean mentioned him as a strong safety. In the interview I listened to today, or was it yesterday, whenever, but he's a slot corner also, right? PJ's an outside corner or inside corner and a free safety. And the good thing about PJ, he's a combo safety. He can play deep or he can play in the box, which those guys give you, a lot. Kevin Byard is one of those guys. Now PJ's not on this level, but just that type of safety who can play in the box or play deep. And then, you obviously have your outside corners, and we know where Williams will be. It just seems like, 3 of those guys, you have no idea who's in the slot. You have no idea who's.
Swanger can do a lot too.
Yeah. I mean, Coach Payton mentioned him like being a player who's pretty good, like when he's close to the ball, like kind of being like, like in maybe like a box guy or someone who can play like maybe if you're in dime, someone's got to play kind of that linebacker, that second level player. So you got about 4 guys who can fit that role.
Yeah, Malcolm's good at that.
Yeah, there you go. So
I mean, like basically, like if you're in a third down situation, and look, they aren't going to play dime all the time, but like,
right?
Why do you have a linebacker out? Like, why? Why do you like? But besides DeMario, like, why do you have another one?
Yeah, man. So that's interesting because dime is obviously, you guys know, 6 DBs. The D line and the linebackers don't matter. It can be 4 D line and then 2 linebackers, or 3 D line, 1 linebacker. But it would be nice if that, you had Bond healthy and that could be his package, right? Like, this is what you do. You're our dime package linebacker. You may rush or you may be in coverage, right? This is your like package of plays. You just need to learn this small subset. But, I don't know what his injury status is. He's not, Coach Payton isn't talking about it, but it just seems like there's a lot of potential for that package. And I just want to know, I know that you got to think they're going to run a dime, but I want to know what they're going to do up front and on the second level. That's the thing that I'm most interested in, because I feel like the dime is definitely coming.
Oh, the dime's coming.
The dime is coming.
The dime is coming.
That's the name of this pod. The dime is coming.
It's got to, man. It's got to.
The dime is coming. That's don't write an article about that, guys.
It's got to.
Yeah. I just think like I just want to know, like, is it Sheldon? Is it Rank and Davenport? You just paid Onyemata, right? Those are your 4. But then Bond, you feel good about him. Anzalone's, I feel like he's just going to be on the field. He's been healthy, for knock on wood, right? And then DeMario's, you don't ever take DeMario off the field. I just want to know like what they're going to do with those 5 guys up front. That's super interesting to me. So I guess we'll just have to see in week 1.
I haven't seen nothing.
That's right. Yeah. Don't know. They ain't seen nothing. Don't know nothing. But yeah. So just does Leonard Fournette signing with the Bucs matter? We're gonna talk about the Bucs next week because they're playing them. But just real quick, they're making a big buzz about this, and just real quick, how do you feel about it?
I mean, yeah, probably he's a solid back.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well,
I mean, what else you want?
No, I agree with you. I was about to say something. I have nothing to bring to that conversation. He's a solid back.
He is.
Period. Yeah, I don't know what I'm like. I'm just like, oh, look at this tweet. I mean, look, listen, we got to hype football. Actually, I'm cool with overhyping football, right? I'm cool with it. Like, get excited about it. Like, this is hype season. Everyone's going to the Super Bowl. Everyone has a good team. Like, it's fine. It actually makes sense. It's good for the game, and it'll get people excited, and the ratings will be better. But, like, football-wise, I looked at, like – and you responded to the tweet. You guys can go find it. I'm not even going to, like, direct you to it, right? You guys know our Twitter handles. But, yeah, they just listed the Bucs' weapons. I was just like – you said 3 guys. I was like, I only see 2 that were good last year. And I was – it's just –
Fournette got 1,000 yards last year, right?
Fournette did get 1,000 yards last year, but
so he was I said they had 3 players that were effective. That's effective.
But we know if you run the ball 20 times a game, you're gonna get 1,000 yards. Like how many 1,000-yard backs there's been like in the league that no one like Toby Gerhardt probably ran for 1,000 yards at some point in his career. Like, what was the kid that was on the Madden cover for the Browns? He was a running back. I forget his name.
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, these guys run for yards if you give them the ball.
I mean, come on, Fournette. Comparing Fournette to Hillis is disrespectful, though, man.
Hillis was like MVP level. What we talk? Hillis was like the best.
Come on, no, man. We got to bring that back
a little bit.
They put
him on Madden. I'm just saying. I'm
Like
just saying.
Fournette's a talented player. He's a good player. Like I'm not like he's good. He got a lot. He's got 3 seasons in the league, right? 2 of them are 1,000-yard years. Like he's a solid back. He's effective.
A solid back. That's what I'm saying. Solid back. But like, here's what I know.
And
Here's what I
Brady
know.
needs a running game.
But Brady, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But I mean, unless he's going to come in and become like be this big time pass catcher or something like that, like he's not going to be it. Brady's not going to trust that dude on third down. Right? Look at Brady's third down running back. They had the dude that they got from Cincinnati. Was it Burkhead? These guys all catch the ball. Like Sony, like these guys, they're versatile.
Sony has 0 in the past.
James, that's why he's not on the field on third down.
James White was the guy. Yeah,
right. That's why Sony's riding the bench on third down.
But they rode Sony to the Super Bowl. Like he needs a running game. They'll use a running game. They'll use Fournette. Like he's gonna fit in. He'll be a good role there. He'll be a good player for them. I just don't know like if that isn't like
it doesn't
by
move the
itself.
ball
By itself, that is not the signing where I'm like, well, damn, the Bucs won the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't think it moves the bar much though, because he's like, because here's the thing I know for sure about Fournette. All right, and this is not even opinionated. If it's not blocked well, forget about it. Forget about it. He's not that dude that's going to make you miss. If you don't block the play, it's like Derrick Henry is good because he is in a scheme that gets him going, right? If you get Derrick Henry even remotely moving laterally in the backfield, the play's over, right? And Fournette's the same guy, right? Kamara, if you get Kamara in the backfield, he's just going to dodge you and then keep going, right? McCaffrey the same way, Zeke the same way, Mixon the same way. So I guess my thing is like, man, it's like all this hype around this guy. I'm not hating on it. If you're a Bucs fan, you get excited. I would probably get excited too, right? He's a big name, but just practically, and I saw the Saints play Fournette last year. They didn't like game plan him or nothing. They just blocked the play well and they stopped the run. Like it's just, I'm more looking at their O-line and how they're going to block it up for him, which they have a good O-line. So
yeah, if they have a good O-line, he's a great guy to have around.
Maybe that'll be good.
He'll get everything and, maybe an extra yard because he's big and powerful.
Yeah,
and
fall forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think he's going to be solid for him. I think it's a good signing for him. It's not the move that like I said, I like, it doesn't change my opinion overall of the Bucs. I think the Bucs just, they're still going to do whatever I thought they were going to do before. Like if I thought they were winning 10 games, I still think they're going to probably win 10 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If they signed someone that was like, I don't know, some running back who is like a really good pass catcher, like if somehow James White ended up on the Bucs, and I'd be concerned. Like that would make me say, okay, like now I'm getting a little concerned because now Brady got Gronk, this guy that can catch the ball who Brady has rapport with, and Evans and Goodwin out there, right? But when I'm thinking, you put Fournette back there, you just, okay, well, if you run, you stop the run and you're not worried about him in the pass game. And to see how I play. Like what's the slot receiver for the Patriots, the one that's really good?
I don't know.
Yeah, Edelman, like I would be concerned if in this different position, but that type of sign, if they somehow got him for second next year, then that would make me be like, all right, Bucs are a problem, right? But just someone like you said, someone like Fournette, I'm not changing the 10-win prediction if he's even 10 wins. So.
Like I'm not trying to come off like a hater on the tweet though, but like hold on, who were the people they said? They said Godwin, Evans, Gronk,
OJ Howard,
Fournette, OJ Howard, and
was Braid on there?
LaShawn McCoy. Yeah, and it's just like
who?
Like
what?
So you got 3 guys that were good last year. Like you got Godwin, you got Evans, you got Fournette. Like McCoy was not good. Gronk wasn't in the league. OJ Howard was invisible, was a bust essentially until you got this quarterback that, and like, look, I'm assuming Gronk's going to be good. We've talked about him. I think he's going to be solid.
Yeah.
I think OJ Howard's probably going to get better because he's playing with a quarterback that is just, he knows how to make tight ends better, and it's going to happen for him probably.
Yeah, but he better get it the first 2 weeks or he's like, the season's over with. No, you know how Brady don't like.
Right. McCoy,
he's not patient.
McCoy, I don't know. Like we'll see what happens with McCoy. But like if we're gonna go, like the hype about the weapons is just they got 3 good players on that list.
So answer me this, and I wanted to kind of say this.
And I'm not being a hater. It's just they got 3 dudes on the list and then 3 question marks.
And like I said, I'm going 2. I'm sorry. I see two guys on the list because one didn't play the previous year. One is a first round, they ain't showed nothing, and another guy's a. But look, maybe they all become good. I'm not saying they're not, but like right now, do you? I was gonna say this for next week, but I'll just ask it now to finish off the pod. Do you think the Bucs have better offensive weapons than the Saints?
I don't know. We talked about this before. I don't know. Like, I guess where I'm at now, I would say no. Where we're at right now, just because it would be hypocritical for me to be like, these guys are unproven and then like to project something for them. The Saints have proven players like Emmanuel Sanders.
Proven. So who has better wide receivers?
I mean, that's impossible to answer. Like, I don't know what Emmanuel is yet. I don't know what Emmanuel is yet.
Say he's the same guy he was in San Francisco last year.
Man, I don't know.
Mike is above both of those guys.
I don't know. Like, look, I mean, those guys are going to get.
But
I think those guys look. This is going to sound crazy, but I think if we're talking like big numbers and all that stuff. Like, I think those guys were better off getting stats with Jameis.
I agree. No, I agree. Yeah. Grunk is there. They're gonna throw the tight ends. They're gonna throw the Grunk. They're gonna try to force the ball to the running back now. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens to the I don't think is Brady throwing for 5,000 yards.
No way. You don't want that. I don't think that's a win.
Right. So I mean, I
don't think that's winning football. I mean, I think you signed Fournette because you want some type of run game.
I think you're taking 1,000 yards out of that passing offense overall, and then you're taking the 4,000, and the distribution chart's going to change.
Yeah, and I mean,
like those guys are going to eat, no question. Gronk's got to eat too. If we're talking about OJ Howard being something, he's got to get some balls thrown to him. They've been talking about this. I can't recall his name, but they've been talking about some. Brady found his slot receiver or whatever. The guy that he's gonna.
There's a joke in there, but I'm gonna leave it out.
I mean, they said he found the slot receiver. Yeah. I don't know who he is. Undrafted guy. Like he fits the profile of the Brady slot receiver. He is
short and quick.
Look, man, he works hard. So we'll see with that guy. Like if that guy's something too. Like I don't know. I just don't know. You're taking 1,000 yards out. You're adding Gronk, and if anything else hits with it, like it's going to spread the ball out a little more. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get the same numbers.
Yeah, and Josh McDaniels is not the offensive coordinator. I mean,
he is because Brady's probably.
Yeah, but I think
Arians is a solid coach too. If he calms it down a little bit with some of the aggressiveness, like it'll work. It should work for him.
I mean, he's a 60-plus-year-old man. What makes you think he's about to start calming it down? Like I don't know people like.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you get Brady, like you've made that decision before you even got into it that you were going to.
Apparently, they're running Arians' offense with some Brady stuff in there, but apparently it's still like the downfield. I mean, we don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, this is all speculation. I'll catch up on the Bucs, but
Brady can decide where to throw though too. Like you can design the stuff, and that doesn't mean Brady's going to make that throw.
Yeah, that's true. And is Brady gonna like? And I think it's a switch that he got to turn. One, you didn't have OTAs mini camps, right? So you have to. I mean, Brady is known for throwing the ball to guys he trusts, right? I mean, like he'll go to Edelman 10 straight times if he could, just because he knows what the guy's going to do. Like, OJ Howard all of a sudden becoming like a Pro Bowl tight end. We'll see, right? I mean, it's just they've had what 12 practices. Like I don't know. It's just, I just don't know if it's that simple. There's a lot of guys on that team she's trying to build rapport with for the first time with no mini camp and OTAs. Like maybe they'll get it going, but it just doesn't. The football side of me is saying it just doesn't work like that. Like it takes time. It takes time for stuff to come together. New offense, new players, new everything. I just don't know if we're going to see these guys come in and just. But anyway, this is way too much Bucs. We'll talk about this next week.
I'm eager to see it though, man. I am. Like they're an exciting team. They really are. Like I'm not trying to come off like a hater or a doubter or anything. It's just
I'm watching their all 22 straight up. Like, well, I have to watch it week 1, but I'm going to be watching that team every week because it is exciting.
But at the same time, I'm not going to lie and say there isn't like some exhaustion with them already because like every time you turn on, sports news on TV. I ain't even saying nobody
Bucs
else's name at
everywhere.
this point. We only
Yeah.
say New Orleans football on this thing.
I don't
Turn on
even
the
know
TV.
no other ones. Is there anybody else? I don't even know another sports website.
You
Come
turn
on,
on, but
man.
I'm just saying, you turn on the TV, like everybody's covering them, like it's everything they do. Like I
What
get
is the
it. I
TV?
get it. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to listen. It's healthy for the game, man. Look, we need all the football we can get. Ratings high, everything, right? The better football does, better NewOrleans.Football does. So I'm not complaining about that at all.
I'm just saying, it's weird
But
to me
it's
though
a
that like
little
nobody,
exhaustion, though. It's like, come on, man. Like,
there wasn't a single like out of town reporter that came to the Saints. I'm like,
which
this
is
team that's going to win the Super Bowl.
crazy.
You know,
Which
like
is
they're going to be in the
crazy.
Super Bowl. Like they should be on I don't know.
They're number 3 in like power 2, 3, or 4 in like all the power rankings. Like 11 win, 13 win, 13 win, and the roster's gotten better, and better. Like it's no reason, that no one should have came to visit. So
I mean, it's a hard year to travel. But some people were traveling. Like I don't know.
I was about to say they went to Tampa Bay.
They went to Tampa Bay. They went to Kansas City. Like they're out there. I'm glad
Yeah.
nobody else came. Like
Me too.
it keeps the spot open for local people to keep going
Yeah.
in. You know, I
I'm
got to
glad.
see every practice.
I don't really like because they just come. I don't want to hate on nobody, but like they just come and ask like the day one camp questions. I'm like you could have read NewOrleans.Football and got that answer like weeks ago, man. Like come here prepared. But yeah, man. Anyway, all right, guys, that's it for us. We went over an hour. I wasn't planning on that, but that's how these things go. Make sure you guys go to NewOrleans.Football/subscribe. There will be a link in the show notes if you don't want to browse there by typing it. Whatever you do this week, make sure you guys subscribe and check out some of the content that Nick has been putting out. Every day after practice, there is a training camp report, really in depth. I may or may not have compared it to others, and I may or may not think that it's the best. You guys can speculate on that on your own, but I would highly encourage you to go read it. There's an article up there about the Kamara situation, as we mentioned earlier. Janoris Jenkins, you can probably feel free to be somewhat excited about him. There's just a little piece in there where Emmanuel Sanders was talking about how he covered a route that he ran that no one else has covered it. I'm not going to give you more, but just go and check it out yourself. That's a big deal. Make sure you guys follow Nick on Twitter at Nick_Underhill and follow NewOrleans.Football Twitter account at NODOT Football. So make sure you guys stay locked in. Training camp reports come in every day after practice. Bucs preview next week. Make sure you guys stay safe. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week. We out.